Hey, Mount Hebron adults, it's time for our second Lenten devotional, and I'm so glad to be able to share this time with you. We're talking this week about listening and how we can do a really good job listening to other people, truly listening, not just listening to be able to say, oh, but I think, not just listening to be able to say, yeah, okay, but really we need to talk about that. Listening to hear how the other person is feeling, listening so that you can understand where they're coming from better. Really getting under their umbrella, as I said in the sermon, and seeing what matters to them. Now, I want to seed you with a little bit of information, and I've been reading lately that our children and youth are feeling like we as adults don't do a good job listening to them. We don't hear them. We don't spend time with them. We don't treat them as just as valuable as another adult. And they're feeling the pain of that. So keep that in mind, whether it's for your children or grandchildren, whether it's for children and youth of our church, whether it's for others that you know in your life and family. Keep that in mind. We tend to get so wrapped up in our own stuff that we don't listen to our younger folks, and therefore we're not teaching them how to listen to each other and to us. We can do a better job modeling. So that may be a great way for you to be listening this week. I also want to call your attention to the book of Job. You may or may not have read the whole thing. It's a long book, I think, off the top of my head, maybe 41 or 42 chapters. And Job is going through a whole lot of suffering. That's what we know most about the book. Everything is taken away from Job, and Job still trusts in God. It's pretty amazing. We might imagine ourselves in that situation and say, that would be really hard for me. But a subtext of that book is about Job and his relationship with his friends. Bildad, Medad, Eldad, I think are the names, regardless. 3 friends and Job's wife, who all take their turn being with Job in some form or fashion as he's struggling with the pain and all of the angst. And what's interesting is they don't spend much time listening to Job and understanding how he feels, his perspective, where he is in his faith. They spend time telling him what they think he should do, defending their positions, talking, and not listening. So I think we all understand that, because our natural reaction when someone disagrees with us is not to listen to how they experience it, but to defend our position. We know why we think the way we do, and we want them to think the way we do. But the reason that Job didn't identify with any of them in that story is because his friends, his wife, didn't listen to him. They were all wrapped up in their own agenda and their own stuff, their own opinions about how he should be reacting. Curse God and die, they said. Job didn't want to curse God. Job's faith was still alive, and not one of his friends, not his wife, none of them stopped to ask, how's your relationship with God right now? Who did listen to Job? God did. Doesn't mean God didn't challenge Job. Absolutely, God challenged Job. But first, God listened. God understood. And then God offered a challenge. Now, if you think about the book of John in the New Testament, a lot of Jesus's conversations with people went this way. Jesus would sit down and listen, like to Nicodemus in chapter 3, to the Samaritan woman in chapter 4, and he listened to hear their lives and what was going on. He knew them well. Then, after he had heard them and they felt fully known, then he challenged them. Now, I'm not suggesting that we need to start challenging people. I'm suggesting that we need to learn from the first part of that, to help people feel fully known and appreciated for who they are and the things that are important to them, the values they hold, the things they're interested in. That tends to take us to a whole different place of relationship that flows really easily end really well. So you might want to reread some of those parts of the Bible, but in any case, I hope that gives you something to think about as you seek to practice the spiritual practice of listening this week in your life. Take care. I'll see you soon.